And do you work primarily with electronic equipment and synthesizers, or do you like to go full scale big orchestra?
Usually both. For example, in games like Fallout,
Mm-hmm.
it was primarily electronic.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did record some live instruments. But games like Lord of the Rings, I went to Abbey Road and recorded the London Philharmonia, 70-piece orchestra. So, I mean, it all depends.
I wanted to tell one of the things, because I know a lot of A-list film score composers, and we chat a lot about the challenges in composing for music, television, and games. I'm sorry, for films, television, and games. And the way I like to put it is that a film has one beginning, one middle, and one ending.
Mm-hmm.
TV shows have one beginning, one middle, one end, with a few interruptions for advertisements. Video games have one beginning, anywhere from 2 to 5 endings, and 400 middles. And it's that middle part that becomes a tremendous challenge, because the composer, as well as the game developer, has to take into consideration you may go from being a stellar champion to a complete loser, or somewhere 399 positions in between.
Mm-hmm.
So the challenge, creating that segue of one piece of music to potentially 400 different feelings and emotions, enormously tough challenge.
I'm just trying to think of the the dozens of hours I spent wandering the wasteland in New Vegas with just that creepy theme that you made in the background. Now I think now it's stuck in my head. So I have you to thank for this. So
In fact, we are going in about an hour from now. There is a whole presentation at GDC by the audio director about the whole audio for Vegas. So
okay.
it'll be interesting to listen to this talk.
Well, let me ask you this question before I have to ask about Journey: Escape the Video Game. But let me ask you this: how do young composers or young people today who want to get into the audio side or the composition side of video games, how do they go about doing it? Where do they start? How do you get into the music business?
You want to try to answer that?
You know what? You nailed it. That is the biggest question relative to composers. Years ago when Inon started, 95, so on and so forth, the window of opportunity was open. Not wide open, but open.
Mm-hmm.
And since that time, that window is closed, because so many people like Inon have established themselves as the go-to composer.
Mm-hmm.
So, in films, you have what you call the A-list of composers. Certainly Inon is, forgive me for being self-serving, but Inon is at the top of that list. And then, of course, you have the B-list, and that's everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So the A-list people continue to get repeat business from the same producers, developers, game companies, so on and so forth. The new guy trying to come in it's really tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough. How do you do it? Easy for me to say, very tough to do. And I suggest that they be everywhere all of the time. They do free demo music. They go to the Game Developers Conference and just shake every hand they can possibly shake. And offer to do, projects for free.
Would you recommend that they try to start with some of the more independent mobile developers, or those just making indie games for PC or Xbox or something?
Absolutely. The way you do that in the casual game market, because those games don't really require the, forgive the word, but magnificence of the music that is written for the AAA game titles.
Well, it's much simpler music, yeah.
Yeah, it's much simpler, and that's a good entry point.
Okay. Is there a school or a program that those in high school today might be interested in learning about?
Well, USC actually has a whole video game, program
Okay.
there, music for video game, and Gary Scheinman, who is a composer, he composed the music for Bioshock.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he is teaching there,
Okay.
and so basically, there's a lot to learn, and I'm sure that other institutes also are holding programs for music for computer games.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of specific schools. Actually, one here in San Francisco. Can't recall the name of it, but a good place to learn the vernacular of the industry, to get a sensibility about what's going on, is to become a member of GAME.
And what is game?
Game Audio Network Guild.
Okay. Gang. Gang.
Yeah, that's the one that Paul Lipson is president of. Tommy Tallarico's the founder.
Okay.
And it's a place where you can go and just spend time and watch the A-list people communicate, and just general conversation. And it's good to do that because you just learn how to behave within that community,
Mm-hmm.
And from time to time, it will actually have job postings. And the job postings are really put forth for what they call the newbie. Hey, you want to break into the business? I'm a game developer. I've got no budget. But if you want to put your music in my game and my game becomes a hit, well, then you'll become known. That's how it works.
All right.